This video will be about array properties and methods part 2. Now in the previous video, we already looked at a lot of different properties and methods for arrays. And in this video, we're going to continue on from there and take a look at more useful methods. So let's get right to it. Now let's talk about getting indexes of array elements. Now we already know that if we have an index of an element, we can use that index in the square bracket notation and retrieve the element with that index. But what if it's the other way around? What if we have an element and we want to know what the index of that inside the array is? Well, you can do that using built-in methods. So first, let's define an array. In this case, we're going to be calling it var meat. So we have a meat variable which contains an array with 3 elements: chicken, beef, and lamb. Now in this case, you can use the indexOf method of arrays to retrieve the index of an array element. So meat.indexOf beef will retrieve 1 because beef has an index inside the meat array of 1. So just like if you have the index, you can type in meat square brackets 1 in order to get beef as a result. The opposite is you can type in meat.indexOf beef and get the index of the beef element. And because the string beef is the second element inside the array, we get 1 because it has an index of 1. Similarly, meat.indexOf chicken retrieves 0 because chicken is the first element inside the array and it has an index 0. So meat.indexOf chicken gives us 0. Now if you enter something that's actually not present inside the array, for example, in this case we've typed in meat.indexOf salmon, which is not actually in the array because it's an array about meat, then we get -1. So -1 tells us that JavaScript can't find the specific element inside the array. So, by using the indexOf method, if you have an element value, you can use that to retrieve the element index inside a certain array. Now, we just learned about arrays, and we've talked about strings in previous modules. Now, you can convert between these two in a lot of different ways. Here are a few of them. So first, let's have a variable called letters, and let's assign it a value which is an array containing A, B, and C, 3 strings. Now in this case, you can use the join method in order to convert an array into a string. So letters.join and then parentheses to execute the method retrieves a string A, B, C. So it basically takes all the elements inside the array, concatenates them together, and separates them by a comma. And that's how letters.join method works. So you can use the join method in any array in order to convert that array into a string. However, having A, B, C doesn't actually look very good because we usually put a space after a comma. Thankfully, the join method can accept an optional parameter, which allows you to specify exactly what you'll put as the separator between the element values. So in this case, letters.join and then a string, which is just a comma and then a space, tells JavaScript to separate the elements using comma and space. So the resulting string is A, B, C, but with proper spaces after the commas, which looks better. In fact, you can actually put in almost any valid string in the join method, and JavaScript will use that to join all the different array elements. So in this case, letters.join, then a blank white space gives us A, B, and C without any commas. So whatever string you specify in the join method will be used to join together the different elements of the array. If you specify a white space, then a white space will be used to join the elements. Or you can specify a comma and a space to join them using a comma and space. And if you don't input anything, it just defaults to a comma. In this case, we're using letters.join, so space dash space gives us the result A, space dash space B, space dash space C. So now all the different elements A, B, and C are separated by a space dash space. And that's how the join method can be used to convert arrays into strings and can be even used to specify how you'll separate the different array elements inside the string. Now, just like you can convert arrays into strings, you can also do the opposite. So if you have a valid string, you can convert it into an array. So in this case, we have a valid string var s, which equals a, b, c. Now this is a string right now, but what if we want to convert the string into an array? So in this case, we want to convert the string into an array with 3 elements, a, b, and c. But currently, it's actually a string. So how do we convert the string into an array? We can do that using the split method. So in this case, we're declaring another variable, variable a, which equals s.split, and then a comma and a white space. So it works almost opposite to the join method. In this case, the split method takes a string and splits it into different array elements using the separator you specify. So in this case, var s equals a, b, c, and now we're using that string s dot split and then comma and a white space. Basically, we're telling JavaScript to separate the string into different array elements and use the separator comma and a white space to do that. And the resulting array is stored in the a variable. And now if you check the value of the a variable, we get the array a, b, and c. So the string a, b, c has been successfully split into different array elements. And in this case, we needed to specify that JavaScript should split the string using comma and a white space as a separator. Now what separator you use depends on the string. So in this case, we have another string, var s2, which equals a, b, and c. So now we don't have a comma and a white space. The elements are separated using just a white space. So in this case, if we want to convert this into an array, we need to type in s2.split and then just a white space. This tells JavaScript to convert the string into an array and use white space to separate the different elements. So in this case, the result is the same, a, b, and c array. But we needed to specify a different string as a separator in this case. Now let's see, we have another string, var w equals JavaScript. So w is a variable which contains a string JavaScript. Now if we don't specify a separator in the split method, then what does it do? It basically takes the whole string and puts it as one element inside the array. So the w string only contains the word JavaScript, and w.split without any specific separators gives us an array with only one element, the string itself. And what if we put in an empty string as the separator? So w.split and then an empty string. That actually separates every character inside the string and puts it as a different element. So in this case, we have JAVA, ACRIPT. So JavaScript has been split into separate characters, and each character as a string has been put as a different element inside the array.